Thick eyebrows is a thing now, so that's the correct thing to do. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Filipino Freethinkers podcast that's also a video. I'm Red,
I'm Nicole.
and this episode is titled There Really Is No God. Is there? Where? Where do we even begin? Like these past few months? 3 to 6 months? I don't know. These past few
This whole freaking
these
year.
past few fucking past year has been something, right? Like where do we start? Of course, the most recent one was the
Which one? Ang dami in the past 48 hours.
Okay, another celebrity died, but the more important one, Trump,
Yeah.
is the
President-elect.
I can't say it.
You can do it.
I can.
Or we can
It's
say
the
presumptive president.
Presumptive President Trump. Okay, Trump is actually whoever saw this coming. Maybe the Phil-Amps in the U.S. saw this coming because they're some of the biggest supporters of him there.
Yes.
I don't know who saw this coming. President Trump, all of the experts, all of the technocrats, the celebrities, they were behind Hillary. They were behind her, but she is. I don't know. Has she made a statement already?
She made a concession speech.
Okay.
There's an NY Mag article featuring a woman who found her in the woods walking after the campaign. This is serious. It's not hashtag fake news.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe, processing has happened. But yeah, I mean, I've never used the word clusterfuck ever because it's a British
It's
term.
a technical term.
It is a technical term, but also I feel like I'm so pretentious naman if I say it. But now I think is the best and most appropriate moment.
Clusterfuck. There's also clown fiesta. There are many words.
My favorite is from John Oliver when he said, "This is what Satan's Pinterest board looks like." So,
Okay, yeah. Like for the U.S., we have that. For the Philippines, I don't know. Like I said on Facebook the other day when I called out from outside. I haven't been Facebooking a lot really.
good for you.
Yeah. And I said, we don't have the worst electorate anymore. We've been trumped, right? And I do not think, actually, that Trump is worse than Duterte.
Okay, why would you
Okay,
say
of course, that's another discussion that we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
have. I don't think that. I think that Duterte is still worse because he actually kills or has people killed. You know, that whole rhetoric of murder is his. Like Trump at least does not have that and he doesn't have the track record to prove that. You know, he has the potential to do that. He has the nukes for it even, but he hasn't yet.
Right.
Duterte has already proven himself to be that murderous lunatic that we were all afraid of, right? So, but in terms of the electorate, I think the U.S. is worse because we had the first past the post to contend with. Like there were so many candidates.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a clear choice here. Like even the Poe or Mar, like there are arguments, for who would be the better candidate than Duterte. So we have that excuse.
Right.
In the U.S., they had two clear choices. I mean, one clear choice,
Yeah.
and they made the wrong one.
It's very hard to explain. Of course, I've watched the news nonstop for a couple of days already, so it feels like all the punditry I've started absorbing, but none of it feels like it makes sense. But I think what's very interesting about this election, and I'm just starting to realize this, is it's an election about choose your own violence, right? So either the violence of hatred that Trump promoted, or the kind of violence that is also associated to Hillary Clinton, but it's a slow, invisible kind of violence. I mean, a lot of accusations about her being hawkish. Some of the Arab Americans have started talking about why they voted for Trump because of Obama and Clinton's policy in the region. So I kind of get that there are different forms of violence going on here. But I think in terms of my personal take, and this is not me as a sociologist, but me as a citizen, middle class, foreign educated, privileged, and all that, I tend to focus on the more cultural aspect of this and how this has all become normal to unleash the language that both Trump and Duterte enabled. I thought we've progressed way farther than where we are now. But it turns out there's a backlash.
Yeah.
So to whoever still believes that there's the end of history, obviously you're wrong. It's just getting started.
There was this, many people think, insightful cracked article. Have you read that?
Not yet.
It's titled "Don't Panic."
Okay, yeah.
And one of the things they say there is that you need this final throes of bigotry before it's finally snuffed out, right? Like, give them their last cornered animal kind of bare your teeth. Like, this is the final one. And once you get through this, then that will usher in a new progressive era. I mean, I'm sure this is wishful thinking on the part of many people.
Yeah.
That's something that many people want to hear.
Right.
So, of course, we'll never know. It can get even worse. You know, the weapons at the disposal of Trump are far more powerful than the death squads here in the Philippines. So,
because military might alone. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Aaron Sorkin's letter to his daughters, right? When he said, there's also reason to hope because after our darkest days are our finest hours. Of course, I'm critical with the notion of American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
But in any case, that can be probably the bright spot in what is otherwise a very disturbing development. But I think one of the funny memes that I saw online in the Philippines was about, why do you care about the elections? You're not even American. You don't even have a visa. And
actually,
it's a simple answer of, it means solidarity. And I mean, I understand how it's important, especially in local coverage, that we frame it in terms of what does it mean for Filipino Americans? What does it mean for the Philippines? What does it mean to Duterte's foreign policy? But I think as Filipinos or as human beings, it's also important to just appreciate this as a moment of human solidarity. That something bad really happened overseas, and we have to care as human beings, even if assuming it doesn't directly affect us. And I think it's annoying when people just say, why do you care so much? You're not American.
I get the sentiment, though. Maybe it's that part of people where when there's Thanksgiving, Filipinos celebrate that as well. You know, that kind of thing. There is an affinity with the U.S.
Yes.
You know, we could have been a state if history panned out a bit differently.
State,
we could have been a state, and a lot of people maybe still identify as that. And culture as well. Like, we consume so much Western American culture that there is certainly that affinity.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, like what you said, right? Like, whenever a dictator wins or is toppled anywhere in the world, we either rejoice or, you know, feel bad for the people out of solidarity.
Precisely.
But in more practical terms, the results actually do affect us. I mean, it's a superpower that, you know, tensions with China, you know, that kind of thing.
You have to say it right, China.
China. Okay, let's prepare.
Right.
Yeah. So, we're only talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even before that, the Marcos libingan ng mga bayani issue happened.
Yeah. There are some studies that show that this has actually been a more normal, probably not intense support, but it's gotten a bit more acceptable.
Wow.
And this is actually written in the Supreme Court decision, and they use the number of votes Bongbong Marcos got in the election, which is kind of my pet peeve. Like, a lot of lawyer friends I know get annoyed when ordinary people make opinions about legal opinions, and they're not lawyers.
Yeah.
Well, this is the chance of all political analysts to say, I hate it when non-political analysts use political data to make legal decisions. Because it's a bit upsetting in the sense that the argument is, a lot of people find this already acceptable, whereas those who have a dissenting opinion actually use the law to explain why this is not possible. And this is precisely why we have a post-Marcos constitution. But apparently, I mean, to me, it feels very disturbing that the court of last resort in the Philippines cannot even be the court of the court of last resort for some progressive causes. But nevertheless, I look forward to creative forms of dissent from a lot of ordinary Filipinos to express and register their dissent against this decision. So there's lots of creative avenues here. My favorite is the Google Maps on how they change libingan ng mga bayani at isang magnanakaw. Because I think the term magnanakaw is accurate in the sense that there are court decisions already that affirm that ninakaw nila yung pera, right?
Contrary to what Duterte said, that no competent court has ruled them guilty, there have been already. And it goes to show that he's sort of a revisionist and a denialist as well. So that's the president that we elected, guys. Even before that, there's the GMA issue.
Right, dismissal of the case by the Sandigan Bayan. If I'm
there's that. And there's this as well. There's this as well. Supreme Court, I don't know, shape up. Did you know maybe all of this, all of what's happening in the Philippines or in the world is overshadowing what's happening with the RH law.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Right? So what could happen by 2018 is that majority of the contraceptives and contraceptive brands will have lost their certification. Right? And you can only buy so few contraceptives. Like there can be a day where pills won't even be sold.
What is that? Color coding scheme number?
No, I have some more time to talk about this here. The implants, particularly the brand Implanon, there's a TRO on that's still there.
Yes.
Right? What the Supreme Court decided is that they will lift the TRO on the certification of contraceptives if the FDA agrees to hold public hearings for every contraceptive brand that they will certify, and they will have to recertify everything.
Okay.
They will have to recertify everything from scratch because the Supreme Court has thrown in the trash all of the things that they have certified. They have to do the process again. They'll have to hold an open hearing where the pro-lifers and anyone who can complain can voice a complaint.
Yes.
Right? And the FDA does not want to do that because the FDA is an authoritative body. They're not a judicial, they're not there to decide between who to listen to, the pro-lifers or the pro-RH, right?
Yeah.
Like, should we certify Althea, the brand, for pills? Should we listen to the pro-lifers? They're not that kind of body. They're a scientific body.
Yeah.
They study using the best science that they can to decide whether something is abortifacient or not. That's the crux of the issue. And the FDA does not want to be that kind of body. So what we want the Supreme Court to do, obviously, is to lift the TRO without such a stipulation. Because, so we are at the verge of being even worse than before the RH law was a thing.
Yeah, because now you can't really have access.
Yeah, even if you had the money. So middle class people, this is your time to care. I think. Like you didn't care so much, unfortunately, when we were shouting like 14, 11 women die every day.
When was the decision released?
It's been a year already.
It's been a year already.
I mean the TRO on the implants, right?
Yeah.
So now we're appealing that. And we're in the beginning of a 6-month campaign, a signature campaign to ask the Supreme Court to lift the TRO. At the very least, what you can do is you can go to bit.ly/lifttro and sign the petition there. So that's one small thing that we can do. I'm sure there are such petitions for Trump to be impeached right away. There are some articles coming out that he can be impeached right away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Take down Mocha Uson's blog. That kind of petition.
Mocha Uson is a columnist now.
She is. Congratulations to her.
Right?
Because it's not easy to put together 1,000 words. So if she can do it every week, then yes.
I'm sure she can do it. I believe she can do it. Now, the quality or the veracity of the stuff that she publishes there, because the track record, unfortunately, on what she has been releasing in terms of the basic fact checking is pretty poor.
So you would categorize this as part of the episode of this week really proves there is no God week.
Yep, that definitely. Like somebody said it really well on Facebook. I don't remember how it goes. Mocha Uson is a journalist. Manny Pacquiao is a senator.
Right.
Duterte is the president. Trump is the president.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So how do people even start to react? I'm sure we have personal experience on this. This is a very stressful time. Like, how does society heal from this?
Yes. Well, for one thing, I think it's not necessary. Healing is, I think, a bit overrated. Because that's the same argument they make for the libingan, right? You need to start healing, moving on, national reconciliation. But my question is always, well, healing for whom, right? So
Yeah.
even in the context of the US or context of Brexit, I mean, national unity, national healing for whom? So I think it's okay and sometimes productive for democracies that we keep on staying angry, we keep on staying vigilant, and keep on making demands. Because, once we start accepting things as they are, then that's when complacency begins to happen. And I think your RH story is an example of that. A lot of us were very noisy when the bill was being debated. I was part of that. But now people like me don't know that this is happening.
Yeah.
So you're right. We have to just keep monitoring issues that matter to us. It's very tiring.
It is.
I would also prefer to stay out of Facebook, but somehow the masochistic aspect of me just keeps reading all of the punditry about why we didn't see a Trump win coming. So so I think it's okay to stay angry for a bit.
Okay, so many intelligent people did not see that coming, and I'm gonna focus on that a bit because I've been learning a lot about neo-populism in particular and populism in general since Duterte won, and I have been understanding that this is a backlash against the self-righteousness you posted about this as well, and the arrogance even of intellectuals calling other people stupid, and despite having so many intellectuals in positions of power, people are still poor, people are still suffering, nothing is working, and here's people complaining about that. They're saying, we want to try the stupid now. You smart people have not really been doing much to alleviate the suffering that we've been experiencing. So, as an intellectual, as one of the one of the most public intellectuals, academics, how does that feel to live in this era of, I don't know, anti-elitism, anti-intellectualism? Yeah,
right.
like yeah. How does it feel? Like, does it temper your I don't know, arrogance?
No, I feel personally invested when this whole 2016 happened with Brexit, with Trump, also the rejection of the peace process in Colombia by a referendum. Everyone also thought that will put an end to the conflict, but now they have to redo some of the provisions. I think I feel personally invested here because my 10 years of my academic career is built on looking at spaces where people can participate and make democracies more meaningful. And there's a tendency for people like us to look for case studies that work. So when all of these happened, it felt like, oh my God, everything that we're trying to study probably aren't enough. The spaces that we've been pushing for people to have decent, genuine dialogue is probably not enough, considering the resentment that's there. It's harder to process, and it usually comes out through a populist leader, through social media, through hatred and vitriol. But I also think it's important that we also recognize that it's really no longer an age for the source of intellect, the source of smart ideas to only come from the intellectual class. And I think, which other countries have that anyway? France, di ba? Na parang they see Sartre and Foucault having a debate. Parang it's such a medyo enlightenment tradition. So I think now, because there are lots of sources of information, and of course because a lot of people can put forward their opinions, I think that's a good thing, that it's more fragmented. But it starts getting very disturbing when we just obviously stick to the ideas, reading pieces that are comfortable for us. And this is the whole echo chambers
the thought
argument.
bubbles on social
Yeah, precisely.
media.
And I mean, a lot of people have made an argument about that. So I was just telling in a different interview earlier that maybe what we can learn here as citizens would be to start liking pages that we don't really like. So the algorithm in Facebook.
Mocha
changes.
Usun blog must like for everyone.
Yeah,
for
precisely.
sure.
Although the political economy has also changed because you also have the trolls now, and we know that this is an industry.
Yeah.
We know that this is an industry. We know that someone makes money out of this.
Yeah.
So we also have to be a bit more critical in terms of who's shaping the public conversation and what happens to our discourse. Because, for example, one university in the US tracked the hashtags related to the US elections and found that 20% of these accounts or posts are from bots.
Yeah.
So it's so now we're not just worried about convincing or communicating with other people. It's really just about the new structure of the way we communicate, and we're not even sure if we're talking to people. So it's very disturbing.
Yeah, you're debating with a robot or a troll or a paid troll.
Precisely.
So is the world becoming more stupid or more intelligent? Is the world becoming worse or becoming better? I mean, I really like the premise of better angels of our nature, Pinker's book.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
said that despite everything, the world is becoming better. And he argues it quite well. But
There
is
are
the
less
world...
wars,
Yeah,
better health for everyone,
Yeah.
for the most part.
yeah.
If you
Less
look at
violence.
less violence.
Yeah.
If you take a very, very long view. And also because it depends where you look.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the year of Trump, right? But it's also been the first year of Justin Trudeau as
Oh,
Canadian Prime Minister. Jeremy Corbyn won Labour leader again in the UK. The Pirate Party in Iceland
yeah.
almost won. So I think, it depends where to look. It's good to find inspiration elsewhere in the world.
Count your blessings and all
Yes,
that.
exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Evangelical already.
Coming from us, yeah.
for an episode that there is no God.
There really is no God. Yeah.
Yes. So, but I guess what I'm saying is, it depends. It depends where you look, and we can find inspiration in so many different other places.
There's not so much we can do about Trump. And, I also do not wish, like Duterte, I do not wish that he fails at his job.
Yes,
I
of
hope
course.
he he overperforms.
Yes.
Yeah, because...
And I look forward to the next APEC summit.
yeah.
Both of them will be there.
Well, at least it's a 4 years, right? That's the consolation there. It's not 6 years. It's 4 years. In 4 years, Trump could be replaced. So that's
the beauty of midterm elections.
Yeah.
Or not midterm, but the 4-year cycle with a re-election.
Yeah. What's worrying though is that whole sentiment of overturning all of the progress that Obama has already started with marriage equality.
Yeah, Obamacare.
Obamacare and climate change.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest story to me. At least Duterte has agreed to
precisely.
finally, right?
Yeah.
But Trump having that climate skeptic on board in the transition,
which is consistent with the anti-intellectualism argument.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we make jokes about climate change. It's cold now, but yes, it's part of that skepticism against scientists, against established knowledge.
Yeah.
Precisely because the knowledge structures now are so fragmented.
If the world doesn't end because of a war that Trump starts, this is the narrative that ISIS really loves.
Right.
ISIS really is cheering probably that Trump is now president because they can recruit more and more people to their cause. If the world does not end because of a war on that front, it could end sooner. I don't know.
He has the nuclear code, so
Yes, he joked about, I get the nukes, right? If it doesn't end because of that, it could end. Or I don't know if global warming, we can still even do something about that.
Yeah, or maybe it's the day-to-day feeling of how tired people get when they just read about politics. People tune out, no longer engage.
Yeah.
I think that's also equally disturbing.
Yeah, the danger is apathy. You mentioned it. Like we should keep being vigilant about this. Like if the people who used to care about issues just sort of say, "Fuck it. I won't care anymore. I'll just play video games."
Yeah, or
like
start reposting cat pictures. Although I do miss the cat pictures. I don't even like cats. But,
in the same way that everyone's sort of moving to Canada now, everyone's moving to Instagram now, where there's no stress. Only cat pictures, only dog pictures.
Let's just talk about Prince Harry. Anyway, so it's important to just maintain the energy. But what I'm starting to learn is the importance also of pacing ourselves. I don't really like the term, but I'll use it anyway. We need a media diet because we can't just binge on news and then start getting so stressed and tired about it. So probably, at least on a personal level, I think I need a better media diet because otherwise we'll just all go crazy. Yeah,
let's plan for the long run. If you're in this for the long haul, I certainly am. Consider what Nicole suggested, the media diet, so that you still care, so that you still have energy to fight another day.
Yes.
Like Obama said, the sun will rise in the morning. I don't know if that's just the meme. It's an ugly sun, but it's a sun nonetheless. And
or what other Democrat states did, right? When they go low, we get high. They legalize marijuana. Which is, the way to approach the war on drugs is to rethink about prohibition and regulation and rethink rethink policies on drugs too.
Okay, let's get high, but on rich people drugs, because poor people drugs get you killed. Thank you for watching this episode. Do like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. We will talk about this at the next meetup, which is happening on Sunday. Details of that on our website, on our social media sites. Do remember, bit.ly/lifttro. At least sign that. Do that small thing. And until next time, on behalf of Garrick, Tim, Nicole, Pepper, Max, our millions of staff, see you next week.
Cheers.